Hey, everybody. First of all, welcome to my room, my virtual room at the Kissel Uptown Oakland. That's right, the Kissel Uptown Oakland. Isn't it nice? Look at that. It's very comfortable. Chairs are quite comfortable. The bed over here is really nice to sleep on. I just took a nap and all that. It's great. Now I'm rested and refreshed, and I'm ready to talk with you about this transition team that Mayor-elect Barbara Lee has put together, and this website that contains this plan. And it's this one right here. Barbara Lee Leadership Integrity Results. Mayor-elect Barbara Lee. Then she asks us to meet the transition team, and and it says ready at day one, and I have to actually have to go to another page for that. So while I'm doing that, I will switch and bring up that page here, and it reads, yeah, ready on day one. And then it reads, Mayor-elect Barbara Lee's transition team reflects the full breadth of Oakland, bringing together leaders from labor, business, housing, public safety, education, youth advocacy, ethics, and community organizing. Together, they are laying the groundwork to deliver on the mayor-elect's first 100-day plan and long-term vision for a city that works for all of us. Members of the transition committee will also be responsible for convening working groups focused on key issue areas. Now, let me get this out of the way. I was not approached to be on the transition team, didn't ask to be on the transition team. I did ask specifically to help Mayor Lee regarding economic development, and that was after I completed my interview with her. We had a long talk about some pressing problems. But it doesn't matter if I was on this team or not. The opinion that I'm stating, given the structure of this proposed plan, would remain. And but before I state exactly what that is, let me continue presenting what she's got. Okay, so let's go down. The transition co-chairs are Keith Brown of the Alameda County Labor Council, who I'm not familiar with, and Barbara Leslie, who I've known for a long, long time, who's the president CEO of the Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce. The transition committee consists of Michael Barnett, who's a scientist and a homeowner, and a nice fellow. My friend Fred Blackwell, who at one point was the head of the Oakland Redevelopment Agency, and then my longtime friend Keith Carson, Alameda County Supervisor, who I go back to 1993 with, I would say 1992. Then there's Crichton Davis, the owner of Kinfolk. I don't know him personally, haven't met him yet. Quinn Delaney, a philanthropist. Jeanette Dong. Jeanette and I go all the way back to when we worked for Elihu, Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris, in 1996 for me. Same for Viola Gonzalez. Viola and I both worked for Elihu during that period. I worked for Elihu from 1995 to 1999, and then I went over to economic development and wound up heading the effort to bring Super Bowl to Oakland. We lost to Jacksonville. There's my friend Bob Harris, who I met because he was a longtime friend of Elihu's, and he was representing PG&E at the time I met him. And then there's Frida Kapoor Klein, who's married to Mitch Kapoor, and I met them 2012 we were all invited to see the movie 12 Years a Slave at the theater down in Jack London. There's Paul Markovic of Ascendium. I'm not familiar with him. Carrie Owens Pleats is the regional president of Kaiser. Kaiser Healthcare is in my language. Maximus Simmons, is the student director of the OUSD board. And there's Cheryl Walton, who's the co-chair of the Block by Block Organizing Network, and I'm certainly familiar with Cheryl and the great work that she's done. So then we have transition advisors. We have Danny Wong, the former Port of Oakland director and also Oakland District 2 council member. My friend Barbara Parker, who is the former retired Oakland City attorney. and who I've known Barbara since, I would say, 1994. No, even before that, maybe 89. Yeah. Ben Rosenfeld, transition advisor and budget and finance specialist. I don't know anything about Mr. Rosenfeld. And so these tradition company people will be a part of these different working groups, okay? But my point is that, and that presents this part. These are the people that are involved in this transition committee. And next, let's look at the 100-day plan. And I believe that switches over here. I'm going through this, but you know what I did not do when I went to StreamYard is I didn't do this. Boom. Okay. What I'm going to do is I didn't do that, and I was looking at the website. So I'm going to go back over where I came from, and again I'm going to reintroduce the team people. And make sure that you know who they are. Let me shift over here because I've got the plan up. And what I'm going to do is bring the right page to present so that you can look at the plan. And I apologize for the little bitty mix up there. There's the transition team. Okay, this is what I want you to see. There. And I'm not saying I'm hiding anything. This is what I want you to see. What you're looking at are, again, says ready to on day one. And again, it reads, Mayor-elect Barbara Lee's transition team reflects the full breadth of Oakland, bringing together leaders from labor, business, housing, public safety, education, youth advocacy, ethics, and community organizing. Together, they are laying the groundwork to deliver on the mayor-elect's first 100-day plan and long-term vision for a city that works for all of us. Members of the transition committee will also be responsible for convening working groups focused on key issue areas. And again, here are the people. This is Keith Brown. I'm not familiar with Keith, but Barbara Leslie I've known since the 90s. And they're the two heads. And on the transition committee, we have Michael Barnett, who I met before, a very nice man. Fred Blackwell, my friend who was the last Oakland Redevelopment Agency director. My longtime friend, Alameda County Supervisor Keith Carson. We go back to, I believe, 1993. 93. There's Crichton Davis, the owner of Kinfolks. Heard a lot about him, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet. Quinn Delaney, same philanthropist of the Akani Foundation. Jeanette Dong. Jeanette and I worked for Elihu Harris way back in the 90s when I started working for Elihu in 95 and then through 99. Jeanette's a really great person. As is Viola Gonzalez, who I also worked with when we both worked for Elihu. And I'm happy to see she's here. Then there's my friend Bob Harris, who, when I got to know him, I was working for Elihu and he was representing Pacific Gas and Electric. Frida Kapor Klein, I met her and her husband when I was invited with a group to see 12 Years a Slave in 2012 at the theater in Jack London Square, as I said before. Peter Markovich, I don't know him. I've heard the name before, I don't know him. Carrie Owens Pleitz is a regional president of Kaiser Permanente, and someone that, even though I'm a Kaiser Healthcare member, have not met yet. Maximus Simmons is student director of OUSD board, and Cheryl Walton is very capable. She's the co-chair of the Block by Block organizing network. The transition advisors, another friend, Danny Wong, who's the former Port of Oakland director. Barbara Parker, my friend I've known since 1989, is the transition senior advisor. Ben Rosenfeld, I do not know. The transition advisor, budget and finance specialist, and that reads out that group. And now you're able to put faces to names and everything. And then, of course, I mentioned about the working groups and everything else. So the question is, what's going to happen here? And if we go back to the top, and the Mayor Lee says that they're going to be laying the groundwork to deliver on the mayor's first 100-day plan and a long-term vision for a city that works for all of us. And so let's take a look at what the plan is. So I will put this, I'll replace this with this. Nice that they made this robust website. And so here is the 100-day plan right here. There, that's the 100-day plan. And it reads, one, bring together police department leadership and representatives from all business corridors to coordinate and improve public safety strategies. Two, focus on securing Oakland's fair share of money from Alameda County to address our homeless crisis. Three, convene the CEOs of the 10 largest Oakland employers to discuss public-private initiatives that can improve Oakland's economy and increase public safety. 4, deploy vegetation management crews to clear hazards in the city's high fire danger zones. 5, appoint a task force of lead women voters, ethics, and good government experts to modernize Oakland's charter and strengthen government accountability. 6, direct permitting reform to streamline city processes and reduce bureaucracy for small businesses. 7, generate entrepreneurial and philanthropic investment in Oakland by convening local, state, and national civic leaders. 8, staff up blight reduction crews and partner with district attorney's office to aggressively prosecute illegal dumping. 9, direct the city council to pass a budget that prioritizes public safety and stabilizes the city's finances. And 10, audit city contracts to ensure public funds are being spent effectively by contractors and nonprofits. Okay, my point is here. Some of these are points of a plan that have loose ends. For example, if you bring together police department leadership representatives for all business corridors to coordinate and improve public safety strategies, everything here should lead to some sort of end. Are you writing legislation? If you are, say so. How many days do you have to put that together? If you say you're going to convene the CEOs of the 10 largest Oakland employers to discuss, why have them discuss? I remember saying to Barbara in a conversation we had that the one reason Detroit is taken off is because the head of the owner of Rocket Mortgage, was Dan Gilbert, who also owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, believed that you had to have 20 or 30 different kind of building projects going off at once. And it really helped to revitalize Detroit. It doesn't hurt that the Pistons are doing well right now either, does it? Although they did lose. But my point is, the plan should be simple and clear, and it should have an end game. And you don't want to be seen as wasting CEOs' time just having a coffee klatch, right? You want to get them to invest in Oakland. You want to get them to get other business people to invest in Oakland. You have to have a set of incentives and subsidies that you're ready to provide. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. And so deploy vegetation management crews. This is a good, clear objective. All right. Deploy vegetation management crews to clear hazards in the city's high fire danger zones. The point, folks, is that, these weren't put together with the thought of what an objective is, of what an end game is, and how to do this. Because some of these can be done in a lot less than 100 days. 100 days is over 3 months. And the way this is structured, if it goes the way I think it's going to go based on structure, the natives are going to get really restless and wonder, hey, what's going on? And someone should say this now in order to put out that there's this problem so they can straighten out the problem, rather than people sitting back saying good things, to the mayor, but behind the mayor's back saying something else. That's not right. Oakland's in too much trouble for that sort of behavior. We need to get the ball rolling right now. And so that's my criticism. That's it. It's that everyone has to have their group. You have to have these people that I put together. The best time I felt in Oakland government's history was when Oakland Sharing the Vision was created, and that was in 1991. 500 Oaklanders met at the Oakland Convention Center over two Saturdays, 2 weekends, and we created goals and objectives for the future. That book lasted, and it directed Oakland development and policy for the next 15 years. Okay, people complain, well, the city staff acts like they came up with it, but the whole point is, hey, look, at least they're doing it, right? And at least we had something we could hold up and say, hey, look, are you getting this done? It was beautiful. And sadly, it has not been copied. I keep talking about it again and again and again. Phil Tagami used to call it Oakland sharing the ham sandwich. It was a pretty good ham sandwich, I thought. With like nice mayonnaise and all that, hot mayonnaise. Anyway, well, I don't like mayonnaise. Mustard is what I meant. Somebody else likes mayonnaise. Anyway, my point is that there's not enough. This is put together. It's not enough meat on the bones. There's no end game. Is there a book? I don't know. But having said that, it's a great start. And I think the corrections are those that can be done very quickly, in one day, and move forward. But toot sweet, time is of the essence. We have a city that some believe is flirting with a bankruptcy crisis. I believe our problem is one more of, I'll just say this, civic competence. We have people that say, okay, it's going to take me 12 to 18 months to write a police strategic plan. It doesn't take that long. I can write one in one day. We need to have a sense of urgency about what we do. It needs to be built into the plan. So that's what I have to say. I look forward to your thoughts. Check out the site. It is at barbaraleetransition.com. And I'll go back to this as I close, and you can see the where it's going. This is barbaraleetransition.com. There. Check it out for yourself, folks. And hey, thanks for your time. And remember, subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube, the vlog report with Zenny62, and bookmark zenreport.com.